corporate story. And this one has been doing rounds in India since the first week of May, 2nd May to be precise, when Go First went in for voluntary insolvency to NCLT. And on 21st November, finally, months after multiple deliberations and rounds, it did not find a bidder. News emerging again over the weekend and in papers this morning now suggesting that there could be as many as 3 potential bidders or suitors who are likely to express interest. They haven't yet officially expressed interest, but are likely to come in the fray to take on Go First and take it back to the skies. Who are these 3? Well, one happens to be a Sharjah-based Sky One, a company which has been in cargo and logistics, but a small player in the aviation sector globally. There's another one called Safrik. Safrik is an Africa-based investment firm, not got anything to do yet with aviation. And surprise, surprise, there is a third player as well. The third player seems to be a player already facing financial crunch on its own ability to stay in the skies. We're talking about SpiceJet. So, Krishna, we are ending the year, and just as we thought that the game is over for Go First is gone. And there was an extension of 60 days made by the NCLAT in the first week of December, giving it extension to liquidate or find another bidder by the first week of February. We've got another surprise. Sajjan Jindal decided to back out, and Naveen Jindal decided, to back out, and now we've got SpiceJet and 2 other fringe players in the world coming in.
Right. Interesting that SpiceJet is going for it, as you're rightly pointing out, because SpiceJet has its own. SpiceJet has managed to more than halve its losses from over 800 crore rupees to just over 400 crore rupees, and the fact that they are also offering fresh equity and listing themselves on the National Stock Exchange has certainly done well for the SpiceJet stock. I'd be curious to know how investors in SpiceJet react to the fact that they are now in talks to pick up stake in Go First. But yeah. All of this means only one thing for me as a consumer, Kartik, and that is we need at least one more airline in the skies for India's domestic civil aviation. We'll need more and more. Yes, we have an Akasa Air that's just come in, but we need larger players, more players in the space so that there is rationalization in terms of ticket prices. And also, there's enough flights available. You're talking about a huge country, still largely untapped civil aviation market. So any news about an airline carrier, either it's down or if it's going to add to its fleet, any more flights up in the skies in India is good news for me. The only question here is that how soon will this materialize? Because we've seen months of a career already of an airline carrier which has been down, which has been waiting for clearance. There's so many issues, like you're talking about everything from NCLAT to potential bidders backing out. The way I look at it is that I'm going to wait for somebody to sign on that dotted line and then breathe a sigh of relief.
So I think the challenge, Krishna, really is that how do you ascribe value to an airline which has been grounded for the last 9 years and has absolutely next to nil assets on its books and has costs. And these costs, in addition to litigation, liquidation, bidding, etc., also have costs associated to the aircraft being grounded. So every time you are grounded, every time you're not flying, you're actually bleeding, you're losing money. And add to that the Singapore arbitration, in which Go First has actually asked Pratt & Whitney to shell out as much as $1 billion, accruing to all the losses that Go First has had to made on the back of the faulty engine supplied by Pratt & Whitney. Also because Go First, for whatever reason, only went with Pratt & Whitney engines and did not diversify itself. But the fact is that there is litigation on. There is a faulty engine problem. Right. Replacing those engines quickly, easily, in a low-cost manner for a low-cost airline is unlikely to happen. And at a time like this, any bidder wanting to come and pick up the airline, in addition to getting a brand name and getting a license, what do you get out of it?
Right. You're telling me all the reasons why Jindal Power backed out.
Pretty much.
It's precisely why any bidder, for Go First they were like, oh, it's an airline. India is a great civil aviation market. Why not? What is the harm in buying an airline? Oh, hold on a second. This is a grounded airline. It doesn't even have a fleet anymore, that it owns, it doesn't have a functioning engine that without any doubt. There are so many questions regarding Go First, but the fact of the matter is that, like you rightly pointed out, there is a brand called Go First. People associate, people have taken flights on Go First. So the question is that, can you make something out of scrap? If Go First is at this stage scrap metal, you know people, there are turnaround stars that are there in all kinds of businesses where they take scrap and make something much more out of it. Here is hoping that, against all odds, that somebody, if three more
finds value in it.
Yeah, three more bidders are interested in today's day, at this date. It's a big deal, because they could have easily looked at the reasons why the previous bidders backed out and said that, like, hey, I don't see value in it, I'm done with it. But two international players and one local player already struggling with their own financial issues, if they're interested, there's got to be some value in it, Kartik, that we are not seeing sitting here in these studios.
Well, let's hope the value is more than just paper value, getting to understand how big is the hole that they may have to burn in their pocket if they were to go ahead and either buy
how
Go
deep
First,
their pockets are.
and how deep their pockets are.